Hey everybody, Passion Unchained here. I'm Joe, and I'm helping you live a life you love. Um, right now, I am all into my YouTube channel, and I am also doing photography. I have a Cyber Week deal I want to tell you at the end of this video, but there was a time where I was trying to make money through my passions, and I was bouncing from project to project. I'm just going to read this post that I wrote in a mentorship group I'm a part of, like a personal, close-knit group of awesome guys. And I'm just going to read it to you, and then I'm going to elaborate. I'd been trying to make money through my passions for a long time, and finally I'm on a path where I can see success if I just keep going. For the longest time, I switched from thing to thing to thing, trying to make things work. I wanted money quickly. I wanted to live on passions, like turning on a switch, but money came in drips and spurts. And I felt frustrated because it wasn't enough. I was discouraged and unsure if I was on the wrong path or not, or if I was on the right path. My family kept nagging me to start a career and do the safe route, and I kept worrying if I was doing life wrong. I abandoned projects because they wouldn't work out quickly, and I didn't think I could do it right. I had gone to college, and I had followed my parents' advice and sought a degree, and got more and more frustrated. And there's a couple of things that I learned from this, but there was a period of time where I dropped out of college, and my dad decided, he's like, okay, well, I was supporting you because you were going to college. Now that you're not going to college, I'm not going to support you. And that's understandable. Like if I'm him, I understand where he's coming from. But for me, it's like I was frustrated. I did not like that. And I'm like, well, how do I be successful? And I would come up with certain, I would go into a venture, I would call it, which it was a venture, but I would go into a venture, I'd start a business, and it didn't work out. I maybe, like, for instance, book binding. I was spending 100-hour weeks making books from scratch on my own, and then I briefly hired a couple people to help me out. And in those 100 hours, I would make maybe 20 books maximum. I tried to go, I pushed it from 10 to 15 to 20, but I couldn't go past 20 just by manpower, at least with this small team. And those 20 books, I could either sell a couple myself for 50 each, a couple $100, which is like $1 an hour pretty much, and then, it's eaten up by materials, or I could sell all of them wholesale to a store, and that's like, there's one week I did 15, I think, wholesaled at like 25 each. And, I got a couple $100. It was nice, but it wasn't sustainable. Like a couple $100 a week if you're working 100, and that's, and then $100 of material. So really $100 a week and 100 hours is like $1 per hour profit. It's not sustainable. But I would try these things. I would throw things at the wall until something stuck. And recently, I've done enough failures, and I've done enough reps to know that I'm at a place where I can see success, right? And it's in the YouTube channel and in taking dating profile photos. There are a lot of people that want that, and people that are willing to part with their money because it's worth it to them. And I'll talk about the Cyber Week deal that I have going on. I'm really excited to share that with you. But this was a really tumultuous period of my life because financially I got to a point where I was almost homeless for a year, and I was homeless for a few days out of that year, actually not finding a place to sleep, when either my friends couldn't take me in for a night, or for whatever reason, right? And I remember I was sleeping in my car, which I later totaled. But I was sleeping in my car, and I had a jacket on and a blanket, and it was winter in New Jersey, and was it winter? Yeah, I think this was in winter. And it was really fucking cold. It was either winter or it was fall. I just remember it was really cold, and no matter what, I'd parked on this hill area And it was really cold, and I was trying to sleep. I put my seat back, and it just, I barely got a few winks because it was so goddamn cold. And even though I had a jacket on and I was covered up and I had a blanket, it was not working out. I mean, the thin sheet metal of the door of the car was not good. So you could say I put my time in. I did the hazing that all entrepreneurs have to do. All college dropout wannabe entrepreneurs do. I did that hazing, and a couple of things. I have a couple of lessons from that. Things I wish I knew at that point. If I were to talk to that guy who's like, okay, I have this passion, right? I have this desire to go all into my life and to live it and to be an entrepreneur. I have this desire, this passion. And contrast that with, okay, if I do that, then my dad I'm not going to get money, right? For me, it was my dad. And my dad's not going to pay for my rent. Okay, hold on a second. What should I do? First of all, actually, I just wrote down some stuff here. I wish I knew that success builds over time, that Rome wasn't built in a day, and that I could succeed exactly like I wanted. But I had to be a little patient and keep on the same path for a while rather than switching things up over and over. I don't regret the decision of dropping out of college. It's a valid decision for me to have continued college and done my degree, and that's nothing wrong with that, because then I could have a job that was just, and then I do build my thing on the side. But I don't think that's necessary. I think that sometimes it's nice to just dive into the deep and just do what you want regardless of the consequences and make it work. That's what I did 100%. I was 100 fucking percent what I did when I dropped out of college and forwent all of my the support that my dad was giving me, and just did it on my own. Just like did life on my own, and was homeless for a few days, and was sleeping in my car for several months, for sleeping in shitty hostels, traveling to countries where it was cheaper to live for pretty much a year. For half a year. It's not a glamorous lifestyle, but it kind of is. I mean, it's kind of romanticized, and there's nothing wrong with that lifestyle. I just wish I knew that things that the timeline in my mind was very short. Like, oh, everything's gonna happen. I'm gonna get this next deal will be it. Everything's gonna be right in a month. I had kind of a lottery mindset where it's like I just have to make it, and then I make it, and then everything's perfect. It takes a long time. It takes a long time to build up the skills necessary to sustain a business that works for you and that gives you the success you need. And if you're willing to live an extremely subpar life on the way there, and if you don't have financial means, then you can accept that, which is what I did. But also at the same time, you'd have to, like, if you could it's also valid to be like, well, I almost have a computer science degree. Because I was going for computer science. Let me finish that, get a job, and do everything on my side. And that was what people were telling me what to do, and they weren't wrong. It's not the only decision, and again, I wouldn't change it personally. But it is a decision you can make, and I guess you want to ask yourself long and hard. Don't kid yourself into thinking it's going to be 1 year. It might be 2 or 3 or 4. Like for me, at this point, I'm sustaining myself, working for myself, and that's it. And it's very fulfilling. I've paid all my bills 2 months in advance, and it's most of my bills, because there's some that I have to pay like right beforehand. I can't pay in advance. But it's it might, for me, it was like 5 years. It took 5 years to get to this point. And then I was doing all right maybe a year ago, or no, yeah, maybe like 6 months ago. I was like sustaining myself to an extent, or not even 6 months, like a few months ago. So it took about 5 years. If you're talking about from when I dropped out of college to when I'm sustaining myself doing my own thing, it took 5 years, and maybe there are definitely ways I could have sped that up, but if you're willing to live a subpar, uncertain life for 5 years in order to just dive into your passion now, great, awesome, do it. There's nothing wrong with taking the safe route, as long as you still get to the same location, which is computer science degree or whatever degree you're going for. Take the safe route, get a job, do everything on your side, build it up, and then once it makes enough money to pay your expenses, quit your job. That is 100% reasonable, and it just depends on which one you want to go for. So I guess what I wish I knew was that it was not going to be 1 year, it was going to be 5 years. And so if you think it's going to be 1 year, just multiply that by 5. If you think it's going to be one, like just multiply your expected end date out. It's going to take longer than you think it will. I love that quote. Everyone overestimates what they can do in a year and underestimates what they will do in 10 years. So that's me sharing my experience, sharing some of my deep, dark times in my life and what I learned from it. I would if I could talk to the person I was back then and be like, hey man, just hold it in there. First of all, you're going to succeed. First of all, and second of all, it's going to take longer than you think. And third of all, it's going to be fucking hard. You've made a decision that is a valid decision, that is a romanticized decision, but it's not fucking easy. And understand that if you're not down for the hardness, I think I would make the same decision. But understand if you're not down to, depending on your financial situation now, if you're not down to, if you're making the decision to go all into your passions and be broke for a while and, take the safe route, and you're not comfortable, being homeless potentially, or at least risking homelessness, then make a different decision. Make a different goddamn decision. 'Cause it was hard. And I've been through hard shit. I'm a fighter. I'm a dreamer. And so when I have a thing in my mind, I will hold on to it. And I will doubt myself the whole time, but I will hold on to it anyway. I'm not saying that I was certain that this was going to work out. I was headstrong. And then when people would ask me, I'm like, I'm going to fucking make it. And then behind the closed doors, I'm like, fuck, am I going to make it? Fuck, man. Is this going to work out? But I wouldn't show that part to people because I wanted to show them. I wanted to just show my parents that I was gonna fucking drop out and succeed anyway. And I did, but the thing is, it took a lot longer than I wanted it to, and it was a lot more difficult than I wanted it to. And I didn't plan to be fucking homeless. There was a time where I was like, you know what? I realized I was making the decision to potentially be homeless, and I made that decision. I was like, you know what? I'm going to make this decision because it's important enough to me to live life based on my passions. If that means I'm broke as fuck, then fucking so be it, right? And I'm glad I made that decision. But again, it's valid. It is valid to go the safe route. So I hope that you learned something from this. I hope that I helped you figure out what you wanted to do. If you're making a decision between going all in on your passions and taking a safer route and delaying it a little bit, which actually I probably would have got there sooner, come to think of it. I probably would have got there sooner if I went the safe route. But anyway, point is, I hope I helped you. I have a Cyber Week deal, like I said. Cyber Week deal is I do Tinder photo shoots. I decided to talk today about something that isn't related to dating, but I do photo shoots where I help you with your dating life because I want to help people live a life they love, and dating life and sex life is part of that, right? And so I do photo shoots where I take you around town, either here or you fly me out to where you're at, and we have an awesome fucking time. And I take thousands of photos, and then later I give you a couple hundred of them edited, and that you can upload them to all the dating apps you want and get the matches that you deserve. Because sometimes you need the eyesight of a professional photographer, and not just any photographer. What I've noticed is a lot of my clients will hire a portrait photographer, and then they won't get any more matches because the portrait photographer will be like, okay, let's pose you like this, and then they take a shot and it looks great, maybe for a magazine or a website, or as posed Instagram post, but then the girl's going to look at it and it's like, well, that guy doesn't look like that normally. he's faking. I don't trust him. I don't know what he's really like. I'm going to swipe left, even though it looks amazing. So you have to make it genuine. You have to make it authentic. You have to make it candid. And that's what I'm really good at. And I'm still getting used to this. I need a better setup because I want to put myself further from the background so that there's some bokeh. Actually, I think what I'll do is I'll probably change it so I'm shooting long ways rather than short ways. That way I can have more space between me and the background and you can see the quality of this camera. But there's a link in the description below. You can see some other photos I've taken. You can see the testimonials from the people that I've taken them for. And you can go ahead and book a free profile consultation with me where I will just go over your profile, tell you how to improve it, and then if you want me to improve it, you can book a thing with me. The Cyber Week deal is half off of my shoots, by the way. So if you book and pay before before December 5th, I think it's Sunday, whatever Sunday is after Cyber Monday, you book before that and pay before that at midnight Central Time, then you get half off. And I've already had a few people take advantage of it, so my schedule is being booked up. So I hope that you take advantage of that. But yeah, that's that. I'm excited to help you out, and yeah, subscribe if you want to. I'm doing videos every single day through the end of the year, so just a few more weeks, and then I will do about maybe 1 or 2 a week. So subscribe now to get that. Cheers.